everybody. We got a new champion. One that we saw coming. It was shown yesterday. But let's go ahead and take a look at Nilah. First look.
Joy, unbound and everlasting.
Okay, we saw Slipstream yesterday. It's 1 mana, burst speed, draw 2, give him fleeting. It's a token, you don't start with it. Nilah is going to be 2 mana, nice, in Bilge Water, so not going to be some kind of elemental Runeterra champion. 2 mana, 2/3 with Brash. Ooh, early game Brash is very nice. Attack, create a Slipstream in the top 6 card of your deck. That is, as soon as you declare the attack, you get that. That's very nice. It could be the next card. It could be 6 down. Who knows? Level up, you've drawn 16 plus cards, and Nilah doesn't need to see that. You just need to go through your deck with card draw. Okay, that's pretty nice. And that means, so as long as you're drawing through your deck, you're good. You have a 40 card deck. Your first hand of cards does not matter. Yeah, you just want as much card draw as possible, but Nilah doesn't have to see it happen. So Nilah can come in later. Nilah will come in later in the game leveled up, guaranteed. That's pretty cool. And all it's doing on the level 1 is being brash and giving you even more card draw to help you level up. But it is definitely going to be much riskier to play Nilah without leveling up. Let's keep going.
Does it concern you, our venture into the unknown?
Knowledge reveals our limits. Let us test them.
Oh, good. We're getting flavor.
Challenge.
We are getting voice lines for that guy. That's nice. I'll wait until the end to look at all the new cards. Oh, or except when they do something like this. Updraft. Shuffle a card into your deck and reduce its cost by 1. That's kind of cool. Okay. So you're giving up on hand advantage, but you're reducing its cost. This is one of the ways that you can make up for getting fleeting stuff, is by shuffling the fleeting cards back into your hand, but making them cost less. That's pretty cool. Although you would want much cheaper ways to do it than a 4 mana unit, I think. Since 4 mana, you probably, I mean, it depends on what fleeting thing you got, but you could probably just afford to play most things anyway. If you're running like a fleeting deck, you want to be low to the ground. But what does this do? When I'm summoned, updraft your entire hand. Oh. And grant me +1/+1 for each card updrafted and draw 2. Immediately I'm thinking of Bilge Water Jinx, because that is a cheaper way to level up Jinx. You could do that right away on turn 3. That's kind of cool. Shuffle a card into your deck, reduce its cost by 1. Yep. Okay, I like it.
Your drive towards your limits is admirable, brother. I can't beat it if you don't know them first.
Your strength is lacking.
Right. They went deep.
I seize the initiative. What terrorizes you? Take me to them.
Ooh.
Swift
Hi,
and
dancer.
strong, she cuts the tides like a dancer. Come, test your might.
Deal 2, just trying to get below Brash, basically.
I gotta hold my agility. Let me chase you.
Sublime.
Give the whole board Brash.
Submit to ecstasy. The river bends but never breaks.
Very cool. All right.
Carry me to distant lands and worthy challenges.
Oh, P and Z, huh? Well,
Challenges.
that is going from bilge water to P and Z, so it's basically just letting us know what we already did, that Jana is coming up next. All right, let's go ahead and hop on over to the cards. So Nilah, as I said, early game, pretty nice. It's giving you slipstreams, which is very good. It'll help you find your second Nilah when this one almost inevitably dies. I don't think it's going to last very long. It'll take a lot of effort to keep that alive. But the level 2, on the other hand, ooh boy. That is a 3/4 for 2 mana. On attack, it creates a slipstream just like before, but it also does 2 damage to all enemies and the enemy nexus. They cannot drop below 1 health from this damage. So, this will not finish off the enemy nexus, it won't finish off units, but it will help you actually make brash units be unblockable. And all you need is 1 brash unit to get through, and you got it. Formless Blade also works really good with brash. I didn't mention it yesterday. I was thinking instead about setting up pings, but no, that's actually really good for setting up brash units to just get through. It's also just going to be good. Also important to note, that attack on Nilah, that is in fact burst speed. It happens as soon as you attack. That is not a skill, so it's not going to be an elemental skill for things that care about elemental skills, and it's also not going to work with things like Broadmane. So if you thought, Nilah plus Broadmane equals board wipe, nope, that does not work. It also does not work with the Formless Blade. Broadmane only works with skills and slow and fast spells, not burst speed stuff. Joy Unending, 3 mana burst. Give allies +1/+0 this round, and heal all the damaged ones too. We saw they get used during the lethal swing. That's alright. It's good for go wide. It heals your damaged allies. That would be pretty cool for Tom Kench, because Tom Kench was just kind of lacking healing in region. So that's kind of neat. And it would also be useful if you're doing some kind of Tom Kench and Soraka in Eternal. Other than that, are you going to run this in Nilah? Not necessarily. Healing damaged allies is nice and defensive, but it's also giving you like an attack. I guess it's helping protect you from like some kind of ping type board wipes if you were getting. It seems kind of situational, the heal part. But the 3 manage for 1 attack across the board, and maybe even just a little bit of healing could go a long way. I think that that's pretty good. And that burst speed, it's totally solid. Then we move on to the Master Lookout. We saw that. Once you've drawn 3 cards this game in a turn, once you've drawn 3+ cards in a round this game, I see. Grant me +1/+1 and brash. So this is a 3/2 brash for 1 mana, which is amazing. You just need to have played Slipstream at least once, or any number of things that help you draw cards. It's all over the place in Bilgewater. Pretty cheap card draw. If you're willing to just throw things away, Master Lookout's going to be great. I'm already seeing that this is going to be, Nilah's going to be a very fun deck in Path of Champions as well. Just make sure you don't deck yourself out with all this card draw is definitely the main thing. This also goes to show how Wildfire could also be played. All this card draw and fleeting card draw especially. Dedicant of the Challenge, we saw that. Updrafting your entire hand seems it'll be funny with Jinx. It'll be helpful for just kind of lowering the cost of stuff in the long term. And it's going to come down and be a pretty interesting big effect. Depending on how big your hand was, this can come in and definitely be a very huge unit. But it has no keywords to get through on it. So the main thing that you're getting out of this is the updraft. And the more cards you lost, the better your board state is going to be. Just make sure that this doesn't get vengeanced immediately afterwards or anything like that. Because you do lose a lot of hand advantage for doing this. It's also a good mulligan if you have like a bad draw, like if you don't like what you got. Kind of neat that way. And lastly, we get the boat, the Tide Caller. And just like many of the other boats, this one does draw Nilah when you play it. And at 6 mana, that is a decent time to do it. That's also going to give you. They'll draw you a Nilah. It's turn 6. That is pretty solid, actually, in terms of when you're pretty likely to have Nilah leveled or almost leveled. So even if you drew a Nilah early and she got killed, the second Nilah on the Tide Dancer is going to be kind of neat. So I like that. Each round, when you play your third card, give other allies +2/+0 and brash this round. That is game winning for sure. Whenever I would gain fleeting, reveal me instead, so it's immune to being accidentally being given fleeting by any amount of card draw slipstream stuff, right? You're not going to accidentally slipstream and be like, oh, my Tide Dancer, I wanted that later. So that's kind of cool. That's neat. That also works very interestingly with the Swindler's Den, doesn't it? Because it's not going to be fleeting, it's just going to be revealed in hand. All in all, definitely like it. Playing your third card, giving all your allies more attack and brash if you have a full board, that is going to be game winning. It is only a 3/5 and it doesn't give itself brash, so you have to be careful there. But right away, looking at Nilah, Nilah Jack is going to be interesting. Nilah with P and Z most likely because they have good pings. A lot of the stuff that just worked, more or less worked with Jack already, is going to work really well with Nilah. So Jack and Nilah working together should be very interesting. But next up, we're going to be getting some P&Z stuff, one of my favorite regions. So I'm looking forward to that. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date. And check out more card reviews as they come out. You guys have a good one. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.